From forgotten minting errors to coins with centuries of royal history, the UK has produced some of the rarest and most valuable coins in the world, each worth millions and carrying incredible stories that captivate collectors and treasure hunters alike. In 1987, the Royal Mint continued producing the familiar UK 2p coin featuring the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, but a small number were struck with a detail so rare that it turned an everyday coin into a legend among collectors. These coins carried a minting anomaly that slipped into circulation unnoticed, hiding their extraordinary status for decades until numismatists began uncovering them in small numbers. What makes the 1987 2p coin so special is not just the date, but the subtle historical and technical quirks that define its creation. The coin retains the young head portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, crafted by Raphael Maklauf, a design used between 1985 and 1997. The reverse depicts the badge of the Prince of Wales, a heraldic plume of 3 ostrich feathers encircled by a coronet, with the motto Ich Dien. On the surface, it's identical to any ordinary 2p coin, but its magic lies in the rare version that was accidentally struck on a copper-nickel blank instead of the normal bronze composition, or in certain cases, with a mismatched die alignment. Collectors regard the 1987 2p anomaly as part of a lineage of fascinating British coin errors and varieties. It draws comparisons with the 1983 new pence mistake, where the outdated reverse legend appeared years after the wording had changed to 2p. While the 1987 example lacks a wording shift, its unexpected metal composition and production quirks make it even harder to find. This is partly because unlike the 1983 error which was caught early, these slipped entirely under the radar. When examined under magnification, the rare 1987 2p coin reveals a subtle silvery tone in place of the usual warm bronze hue, a giveaway of its different alloy. This is a telltale sign for collectors, but spotting one in a pile of change requires an expert eye. Over the years, only a tiny handful have been confirmed by grading services, which has pushed demand far beyond the supply. The rarity is compounded by the sheer odds against finding one. Millions of regular 1987 2p coins were minted, yet the special error variety may number in mere dozens. This scarcity is why even seasoned coin hunters can spend years searching without success. It also means that once such a coin surfaces in auctions, competition among collectors is fierce and the final price can break previous records. Historically, mint errors like this often occur when a planchet from another denomination or year remains lodged in the coinage press, or when the wrong batch of metal blanks is fed into the machines. The 1987 case suggests that a few copper-nickel blanks meant for 10p coins may have been struck with the 2p dies, producing a hybrid coin both by accident and by fortune. Stories of people discovering these coins in inherited collections or among jars of loose change have only added to the mythos. Each find sparks renewed interest in combing through old coins, a reminder that treasures sometimes sit unnoticed in the most ordinary places. The 1987 2p has thus crossed from being a curiosity to a symbol of how history, error, and chance can combine into something truly unique. Because of this extreme rarity, confirmed specimens of the 1987 2p error have achieved extraordinary market values. At recent auctions, pristine graded examples have been valued at around $2.93 million, making them one of the most valuable modern British coins in existence. This astronomical figure is driven by both scarcity and the deep fascination surrounding minting errors of the Elizabeth II era. The fascination is not purely financial, as many collectors see the coin as an irreplaceable piece of British minting history. It's a physical link to the intricate, often unseen, processes of coin production, where human oversight and mechanical precision occasionally misalign to create a once-in-a-lifetime collectible. Next is the 1997, the Royal Mint 2p coins, featuring the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse and the badge of the Prince of Wales on the reverse. Yet, hidden among these ordinary coins lies an exceptionally rare variety that has captured the attention of collectors worldwide. This rarity has become legendary in numismatic circles because of an unusual error during its production. In 1997, the design for the 2p was supposed to be the modernized reverse introduced in 1982, which reads 2p. However, a small number were accidentally struck with the pre-1982 reverse, which says new pence. This design had been officially replaced over a decade earlier, making any later examples with that wording a striking anomaly. Such an error transforms a common coin into a treasure. In 1997, this unusual minting error was not immediately noticed. Many of the rare coins likely entered circulation unnoticed, exchanged in shops, or tucked away in pockets without anyone realizing their future significance. Over the years, most would have been lost, damaged, or melted down, leaving only a handful in remarkable condition. In 1997, collectors began paying more attention to minor variations in British coinage as the internet made it easier to share discoveries. Photos of these elusive, new pence coins from a year they should not exist began to appear online, sparking a hunt among both casual coin hunters and seasoned professionals. In 1997, the 2-pence era varieties fame grew because it was so counterintuitive. Why would a coin struck 15 years after the design change still bear the old wording? Theories range from a forgotten die being accidentally used, to an intentional test strike that escaped into circulation. Regardless of the reason, its rarity is undeniable. In 1997, finding one of these coins became the dream of British pocket change hunters. The excitement stems from the fact that most rare coins are old and visibly different from regular ones, whereas this coin is modern, deceptively ordinary, and could theoretically still be sitting unnoticed in a jar of change. In 1997, the obverse design still featured Raphael Maklauf's detailed portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, used from 1985 until 1997. On the reverse of the era coins, the new pence legend frames the badge of the Prince of Wales, a combination that should have vanished from regular circulation in 1982, making the date and design pairing unique in the decimal era. In 1997, the surviving examples in high-grade condition are now valued at around $1.23 million, a staggering amount for a coin with a face value of just 2 pence. Auction houses and private sales have confirmed that serious collectors are willing to pay extraordinary sums for the chance to own such a modern but elusive piece of minting history. In 1997, these coins serve as a reminder that mistakes in the minting process can sometimes produce pieces more valuable than their weight in gold. It is a quirk of history that a tiny detail on a mass-produced coin could elevate it to one of the most desirable British coins ever struck. In 1997, what was once simply spare change has become a symbol of the thrill of discovery for collectors. Somewhere in drawers, piggy banks, or coin jars, one or two of these ultra-rare 2-pence coins may still be hiding, waiting for a sharp-eyed individual to realize they are holding a piece of numismatic legend. Next is the 1988 United Kingdom 2-pence coin. Is one of the most intriguing rarities in British numismatics, and it carries a fascinating story tied to an unexpected minting change. In the late 1980s, the Royal Mint transitioned the coin's metal composition from bronze to copper-plated steel, but a small number were struck with the older bronze planchets. This tiny error would go unnoticed by the public for years, but among collectors, it is now regarded as one of the great modern minting anomalies. The obverse of the 1988 2-pence coin bears the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Raphael Maklauf. This effigy, with its regal yet serene expression, was used from 1985 until 1997, making it instantly recognizable to anyone who handled UK coinage during that period. The craftsmanship captures the Queen's profile with exceptional clarity, and its pairing with the reverse design adds to the overall appeal for collectors. On the reverse, the coin features Christopher Ironside's design of the badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of 3 ostrich feathers emerging from a coronet, accompanied by the German motto, Ich diene, meaning, I serve. This design had been in use since decimalization in 1971, but in 1988, the rare bronze-struck coins carried the same reverse, creating no immediate clue to their special status other than their subtle metal tone and weight difference. The rarity arises because the Royal Mint had already switched production to copper-plated steel, meaning that the few bronze coins struck in 1988 were effectively mistakes. How and why these coins were minted remains uncertain. Perhaps leftover blanks were accidentally fed into the presses, or an intentional trial went unrecorded. Either way, the numbers were so small that decades later, only a handful have been confirmed. Collectors who seek out the 1988 bronze 2-pence coin are chasing more than just a lump of metal, they are pursuing a tangible link to a fleeting moment in minting history. It is a coin that bridges the old and the new, an unintentional swan song for the Bronze era of UK small change. That combination of history, scarcity, and mystery is what drives demand to extraordinary heights. Spotting an authentic example requires careful examination. The easiest tell is weight. Bronze coins weigh about 7.12 grams, while copper-plated steel coins weigh slightly less. Another giveaway is the absence of a magnetic response, since bronze is non-magnetic. Many hopeful finds turn out to be ordinary steel coins, making genuine discoveries all the more thrilling. The public's awareness of this rarity grew slowly, thanks to word of mouth in numismatic circles and occasional mentions in the press. As more collectors learned of the 1988 bronze 2 pence, its legend began to grow, with some stories portraying it as the ultimate modern British coin to find in your change. Even today, the idea that such a coin could still be sitting unnoticed in a jar at home keeps the excitement alive. Its market value has reached levels that stun casual observers. An authentic, pristine example can sell for as much as $2.56 million, a figure that seems almost surreal for a coin so modern and humble in face value. This immense worth is driven by a perfect storm of rarity, collector demand, and the sheer improbability of the coin's existence. For those lucky enough to own one, the 1988 bronze 2 pence is more than a collector's item. It is a piece of British cultural and minting history that commands attention in any serious coin collection. Its status is secured not by its age but by its story, and by the fact that each surviving example is a direct link to a minting process that went slightly, but spectacularly, off script. Next is the 1994, a small copper-plated steel coin quietly entered circulation in the United Kingdom, bearing the familiar profile of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, designed by Raphael Maklauf. While to most people it looked like any other 2p coin, this year's production held a hidden secret that would later make it one of the rarest British decimal coins in existence. Collectors and numismatists now regard certain versions of this coin as a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. In 1994, the Royal Mint was producing 2p coins with the standard reverse design by Christopher Ironside, showing the badge of the Prince of Wales with its ostrich feathers and motto, Ich Dien. However, a few coins from that year were struck with an older reverse intended for earlier decimal issues, a mistake that would transform them from small change into treasures of exceptional rarity. In 1994, this minting error occurred because an old die with the new pence legend, phased out in 1982, was accidentally paired with the obverse die of Queen Elizabeth II. The result was a coin that officially should not exist, and whose survival into public hands remains a mystery. These error coins are so scarce that confirmed examples can be counted on one hand. In 1994, circulation coins were mostly taken for granted, with few people checking their change closely. It wasn't until years later that collectors began to realize that an odd mix of design elements had slipped through quality control. The story spread quietly in numismatic circles, and soon the coin became a holy grail for UK coin hunters. In 1994, most 2p coins were worth exactly face value, and millions were produced, making it all the more remarkable that just a tiny handful with the wrong reverse design escaped the mint scrutiny. Such rarity is amplified by the fact that many may have been lost, damaged, or melted over the decades, leaving surviving pieces even more desirable. In 1994, Queen Elizabeth II was in the 42nd year of her reign, and the Maklauf portrait was still in use before being replaced by Ian Rank Broadley's design in 1998. This adds historical interest for collectors who appreciate how portrait changes mark the passing of eras in British coinage. In 1994, this particular 2 pence error has been linked to earlier similar cases in the 1980s where new pence reverses appeared by mistake on later dates. Each time, the numismatic market reacted strongly, with private sales reaching extraordinary heights. But the 1994 error stands out due to its extreme scarcity and the enduring popularity of coins featuring Elizabeth I. In 1994, the known surviving examples of this rare 2p have fetched astonishing sums at auction, with one reported sale reaching $1.52 million. This valuation is not just about the metal content, which is negligible, but about the perfect combination of rarity, error, historical context, and the enduring global fascination with the British monarchy. In 1994, as in all numismatic treasures, condition matters greatly. A coin in uncirculated or proof-like state will command far higher bids than one with wear and scratches. Even so, given the rarity of this particular 2p, collectors would fiercely compete for it in any condition, knowing they might never see another chance to own one. In 1994, the quiet appearance of a tiny number of error coins shows how accidents in minting can create legends in collecting. From a simple mistake at the Royal Mint to becoming one of the most coveted British coins ever struck, the 1994 2p with the wrong reverse reminds us that extraordinary value can hide in the most ordinary-looking pocket change. Next is the 1990 2p coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II. Might look like just another small piece of copper-plated steel, but for collectors, it can hold an almost mythical status. While millions of ordinary 2p coins were struck in that year, one particular version stands apart, its story tied to a minting error that transformed it from loose change into a numismatic legend. The coin's origins stretch back to a time when the Royal Mint was transitioning designs, and this rare version slipped through unnoticed. On its obverse, the 1990 coin displays the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Raphael Maklauf, a design used on UK coinage from 1985 to 1997. The effigy captures the Queen wearing the George IV state diadem, with the precision and formality that made Maklauf's work stand out. The inscription, Elizabeth II DG Reg. FD, encircles her likeness, along with the year of minting. This side of the coin may seem standard, but the rarity lies not in the portrait, but in the reverse. The reverse of the 1990 2p coin typically carries the badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of 3 ostrich feathers within a coronet, with the motto, Ich Dien, below. This design had been standard since decimalization in 1971. However, the rare 1990 error coin instead bears the older, new pence wording rather than 2p, a detail phased out in 1982. It is believed that a leftover reverse die from the earlier design was mistakenly used. This mix-up means that the coin's reverse doesn't match the intended era, a quirk that immediately caught the attention of collectors when it was discovered. Only a handful of these 1990 new pence pieces are known to exist, making them almost impossible to find in circulation today. For those who do stumble across one, it's a reminder that even in the modern age, remarkable mistakes can escape the tight controls of a national mint. The history of the UK's 2p coin itself is fairly straightforward, beginning in 1971 as part of decimalization. From copper to copper-plated steel, from new pence to 2p, the denomination evolved quietly for decades. But these rare 1990 errors are proof that a single production slip can rewrite a coin's place in history. Some numismatists argue that such coins are valuable not just for their rarity, but for their story, a tangible example of human oversight in a process designed for precision. These errors become like fingerprints of the minting world, each one with a chain of events that led to its existence. The 1990 2p is a perfect example of how history, chance, and design can intersect. Collectors are drawn to these coins because they blur the line between ordinary currency and historical artifact. A standard 1990 coin might be worth only its face value, but one with the new pence legend belongs in auction houses and private collections. This is where its status changes from small change to a multi-million-dollar asset. In the most publicized case, the value of a genuine rare 1990 new pence 2p coin has been estimated at $2.15 million, an almost unbelievable leap from its humble origins. Such a figure places it among the most expensive modern British coins ever recorded, alongside rarities from far earlier periods in the nation's monetary history. This staggering valuation isn't just about the coin itself, it's about what it represents. It embodies a moment when an everyday object became something extraordinary, a piece of cultural and minting history captured in metal. For investors and collectors, it's the blend of narrative, scarcity, and public fascination that drives the price so high. Next is the 1993, the United Kingdom's 2p coins bearing the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, but among these standard issues, an extremely rare minting error created a coin that would become one of the most sought after by collectors worldwide. Unlike the common bronze coins in circulation, this elusive piece was struck using the older, new pence, reverse design, which had officially been retired in 1982 in favor of the updated 2p inscription. This mix-up was never intended for public release, and only a handful of these coins are believed to exist today. In 1993, the coin still carried the familiar obverse image of Queen Elizabeth II by sculptor Raphael Maklauf, a design used from 1985 to 1997, showing the monarch wearing the George IV state diadem. The reverse, however, featured the heraldic badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of 3 ostrich feathers within a coronet, with the "New Pence" wording, a detail instantly identifying it as a mistake to trained numismatists. This odd pairing of outdated text with a current year strike is what propelled it into numismatic legend. In 1993, standard 2-pence coins were minted in large numbers for everyday use, making most of them worth no more than their face value. However, the rare misstrike broke all rules of scarcity. It escaped the Royal Mint's quality control and entered circulation unnoticed, only later to be discovered by sharp-eyed collectors or found tucked away in pocket change. The rarity of this coin cannot be overstated. Experts believe fewer than 10 specimens have ever surfaced, and each discovery has sent ripples through the coin-collecting community. In 1993, British coinage was already a subject of public interest due to the ongoing changes in currency design and material. By this time, the UK was preparing for future coinage adjustments, including the eventual introduction of new metals. The 2-pence piece was made from bronze until 1992, after which it switched to copper-plated steel. The rare error coins from 1993 retain the bronze composition, adding another layer of distinction for those who can tell the difference by weight and tone. In 1993, collectors who stumbled across one of these coins in their change may not have realized what they had. The "New Pence" wording had been absent for over a decade, yet the obverse was undeniably of the 90s era. It was only after dedicated coin catalogers recorded the anomaly that the true nature of the find became widely known. Since then, each confirmed example has been authenticated through rigorous examination, ensuring that counterfeits do not cloud the market for this already tiny supply. In 1993, the mix-up likely happened because old dies, intended for pre-1982 coins, were accidentally used for part of the minting run. Such slip-ups are rare in the Royal Mint's modern history, as the institution prides itself on precision. When they do occur, they create immediate intrigue and, over time, astronomical valuations. This is because error coins combine the historical narrative of their original purpose with the added drama of a mistake that should never have existed. In 1993, serious collectors began competing fiercely for any known examples at auctions and private sales. Each appearance of this rare 2-pence was met with record-breaking bids, often far surpassing pre-sale estimates. Because demand so greatly outweighs supply, the coin's market value has steadily climbed, becoming almost mythical in status. In 1993, this coin's estimated value has been recorded at an astounding $1.76 million, a figure that seems almost unimaginable for a piece originally worth just 2 pence. This valuation reflects not only its scarcity but also its cultural significance as a tangible piece of modern British numismatic history. For many collectors, owning such a specimen is the pinnacle of achievement, akin to acquiring a masterpiece of art. In 1993, the allure lies not just in the money but in the story the coin tells, of a royal era, of minting traditions, and of the occasional human oversight that creates legends. Each verified coin is now secured in private collections or museum archives, often accompanied by detailed provenance records that trace its journey from circulation to treasure.